Find out why you's getting interrupted and your internet is slowing down, bro. Oh my God. As a genius and an internet tech specialist, been hired for the job to, for some low level shit. I'm trying to figure out why is the internet always interrupted? Why Bill Gates and his people always interrupting my internet? Why is my mother part of the Bible people and they's interrupting my life trying to prevent me from learning about tech and using technology so their brother Elon Musk can become the world's richest African, world's richest person, but he's also from Africa, which is beautiful because it's great that Africa finally got the respect and dignity they deserved as a people after being enslaved by people who look exactly like Elon Musk. It's so great to find out why it's getting interrupted. Why is it getting interrupted? Why you guys think when I was a child I was interrupted by the two Elon Musk, Howard Stern looking parents I had who kicked my good, valuable father, who was a rich man who worked for Jeffrey Epstein, very intelligent, did a lot of things, ran 3 businesses, and ran anyone else's business who hired him to run their business while he was busy running his 3 businesses. Find out at the end of this video. Or do you already know the answers? Find out why my internet get interrupted. Why the internet get interrupted? I'll be like, God, why the internet get interrupted? And he'd be like, well, because I agree all these pedophiles and these trash motherfuckers are enslaving you and invading your life. And I created them to tell you that God told them to do it. And then I just want you to slap them in the face because it's really funny when we slap people in the face. Don't you know that's all we got in the real world? We can't slap people in the face because we don't act like that and shit. So we're trying to find out why the internet get interrupted. And I'm like, oh God, why would I go to the store and things magically appear to the store? Your people, you were chosen to rape children and destroy everyone's lives. Are they implanting technology that prevents me from going on X to tell people how stupid they are and how much I hate them, in order so I can never speak to them again, get banned, and then go stare at the wall again because I'd rather do that. And then God be like, well, my children do need slapped in the mouth. They do need a baseball bat to the forehead. And I don't want to tell them like that. And I'm very loving and I'm very comforting. And I don't want to come down there and smack them in the mouth myself with an earthquake or a giant wiffle ball bat the size of a nuclear missile. And then I was like, okay, so God, we figured out that, but why you interrupting my internet? And he's like, oh, well, because what you doing just ain't good enough. You listen to all the crap music that I've generated, and then you trying to play to that, and then you like, nah, I ain't got nothing else. And I'm like, but God, I need to practice my stamina. You sent your people to destroy my stamina and destroy my life. And so I lost everything. Right now we're playing with dildos and we're trying to figure out how to make music by pounding dildos on baby boys' butts and call it drums. And he's like, well, check this out. Why is I interrupting? Here's the Google and the Bill Gates. So we's interrupting you. And I was like, why is you interrupting? I was like, God, you want me to make a YouTube video again? It's like, but God, I don't like talking all the time. I'm not a female. I know you're probably a transsexual because you was inventing everything, which means you was both things. But I as a man, you created me as a man, so I don't like talking all the time. So I guess I gotta make a music or a video, and so I come here and I converse with the camera, which I fucking hate cameras, as you can tell by all my pictures since a child. Every time a camera gets put in my face, it's just like, it feels like I'm being stabbed. But God be like, but ain't that cool when you get stabbed? And, he reminds me of the times he sent people when I was 8 years old to hold a knife to my neck to threaten to kill me. And then when he sent that person in my life who wouldn't get away or let me move away, when they stabbed me in the gut and I didn't die from it. And he's like, check this out, but stabbing is half the fun and shit. Forcing you to do shit is half the fun here. And the other half is laughing at you while you do it. And I was like, but God, so why are you interrupting my internet? Is you just laughing at it? And God is silent. See, check this out. God, why are you interrupting my internet? Silence. You see? So, that's how it happens. He's a funny computer. He likes to invent these people who his people have used up. The people have invented 1,000 different invisible people. Have 1,000 different one true gods who will kill you if you don't worship their race. When you say that 1,000 invisible people are real, fucking it just turns out like that. And then it's like, oh God, maybe it's actually because the computer people you invented is actually in control of the internet and fucking up my internet. And is that what it is? You want me to notice that the computer people is evil people and they fuck with your life and destroy your life and impede it and prevent it from going anywhere? And then, I ask God, and God be like, complete silence. I don't know if the lion got God's tongue or if which one of the gods is 1,000 gods. Not a single one is responding, right? And then, so we don't know what's going on, but we do know in 1 month there's going to be a giant bunny coming to the planet, ain't there? The giant bunny, a rodent. You ever seen a bunny up close? I got to experience a bunny because my bunny love and family had the bunny loving half of my family had a bunny when we was kids. I went near the cage and I was like trying to pet it and stuff, and it tried to bite me. And I was like, dude, I'll let you out. Like, I don't like these people either. Fucking, trust me, you don't need to be in a cage. And it still tries to bite me. And it's like, well, I guess God invents rodents to be evil creatures and shit. And they look like they're high on LSD all the time too. Like I had a deer jump in front of my car and just stay there when I was in the mountains, and I'm just like chilling in my car, and it jumps in front of my car and just looks at me because like our eyes look forward, but their eyes look to the side, so it was like looking forward, but I was over that way, so it looked like it was looking at me and shit, and like judging me and shit. It was like, why are you over there in your Cadillac resting? You've been training all year, all life long, all the past 15 years. Why you gotta rest? No, actually, it was very gentle look, but it was still a rodent, so it looked like psychotic, like it was on an LSD trip and shit. Which I guess deers do that. They like I was at a place where it had a display, a park that had a display showing you how to find magic mushrooms and shit. And then I learned that rabbits eat hallucinogens or deers do. And then after that, so they can trip again, they eat their own poop because it'll get them high again. And it's like, so, but they always look like they was high on LSD. Even the rabbit in a cage back in the day, my one parent had and shit. It looked like Psycho, like it was Charles Manson and shit. Like that's what and you think of when you think of a person on LSD, right? Is Charles Manson and shit. I was like, God, why you create? I actually didn't ask this back then. I think I was just born around that time. I just started having thoughts. So I was just more like, damn, this fucker is psycho. We gotta get rid of it or get it out of the cage and shit. I wasn't thinking of getting rid of shit back then. Everything was thinking of getting rid of me. So that took a long time for that to come. It feels like it's designed to do that, though. It starts with little cute rabbits when you're first born, trying to bite your fingers, and society's trying to drug you and fry your brain and set you back years in school, and you just fucking with them and shit. I was just fucking with people because that's all there was in school. It's like they're trying to drug me, they're trying to hold me back. People was like, stay away from computers. That's gonna take your life nowhere. And they would like force it. It wasn't like stay away. They was like pow pow. You know, like those missing teeth you got. Check this out. You better not touch those computers again. That's what that shit was like. Fucking. You didn't see that today with the anti-AI people. All they did was rename the word computer to AI, and the fuckers is psycho over it. And it's hard to tell bots from humans because they're both bots. So I don't know what's what. Fucking. So it's like, God, why is you interrupting my computer? And so I guess God said, come make this video here I'm making. So God told me to make this video for you guys to see. And you're a heretic if you don't like it. Fucking, that's what you guys tell me. And I wouldn't necessarily say that, but you guys come with the swords and the tanks and the nukes and the drugs, the methamphetamines, the frying people in the schools and the governments and the parents and just old people. Technically, like, parents are just old people, and old people is like their own army against humanity. It's just like a bunch of 80-year-olds trying to figure out how to milk fucking society for anything they can, have some kids be their slaves, and how to redirect everyone to a funnel cash to them. Apparently, you guys, I don't know if they tell you that anymore because they say things have changed. But back in my day, it was like, old people is smart, shut up and listen to us. I was just like trying to figure out, like, well, like, when you gonna say something smart, like, you haven't said that part yet. Like, when you gonna pass kindergarten? I already passed kindergarten. When you gonna pass it with acceptable grades? And he's like, yeah, whack, and then it hits you in the mouth, and you start bleeding, and then the people at the school call the cops because you're fucking your head's swollen up and shit. And then the cops get there and they're just like, oh well, that's parenting and stuff. And so they walk away and nothing happens because they're all working together. And then your mom fucks the cops, and then eventually mom fucks a cop and gets AIDS and shit, and her life's over. And I was like, wow, that's a weird story, but it's like, we're not even making it up. I began writing fictitious stories and fictitious lyrics, and they're like, wow, it's so crazy. Like, you've never heard of me. Obviously, you never heard of anything like that before. Fucking, but this shit right here, I'm not making up the story. This is just like how it is. I'm like, God's like interrupting my internet and says, click here to figure out why Bill Gates and his Hebrew race is interrupting your internet. And my Spectrum is a bunch of terrorists working, installing their networks in Columbus, Ohio, USA, and they're allowed to sell you garbage and manipulate you. Like, I've had a phone for like 5 years that I don't even get messages for till like half a year later, if I do. And then I have one of these trash Hebrews who own it. Like, I showed you guys the messages where he's selling me drugs and shit, and like trying to force me, like, you better buy it now or else it'll be gone. All this salt I'm selling that does nothing. And then, so I'm like explaining to him that his race, him and his people, like his shitty Spectrum internet, is not even giving me notifications when I get a call, which is fine with me because I don't want to listen to you and I don't want to hear anything from you. But what if one day something important happened? We've got 40 years left. There's still a small chance that someone will call me up and say something of value. You know, they say anything can happen in this world, and we did have 2020 happen, and I was playing with the sun and the weather, and ever since 2020, but it's like, wow, I mean, that's the same bullshit I went through, so anything can happen. Where's my T-Rex? You know, my new vehicle. That's what I want for a new vehicle. That's all I ever wanted. Maybe a transformer that's also a dinosaur, but you know, we start small and work our ways up. So we try to put all that together. And, you know, why am I asking questions of people in the technology who are inventing 1,000 different gods? Why am I asking questions to invisible people they're creating? And instead of them, and then we understand that, well, it's because they're pedophile fucking rapists, and they're forcing everyone to repeat their words and blame everything they do on invisible people and not make the visible people accountable for the pedophilia, everything else. I mean, I can't even say some of that, can I? Because it's hate speech to talk about God's creation that I think God might have personally created to destroy. In fact, like, that is the only answer for some of this shit. It's like, well, why did God create me if he wants me to be this way? It's like, well, why did Elon Musk create a broken toaster that you can only throw away? Elon Musk is just trying to be like God, right? Maybe he is God. Maybe that's why his people are the only thing inventing God. But, you know, like, why is God interrupting my internet connections? Why is he sending the devil race that he chose as his own favorite people to interrupt my internet? Why is God having his devil race, the bug-eyed fucking blondes with their fucking weird afros that clearly ain't Europeans but wish they could be in, so they invade their nations and have sex with them because they don't want to have sex with everyone else because they don't like them because they're racist, and they don't like they're self-haters. They don't like their own people, and they don't want to have sex with other people because they feel like they'll drag their people down to a new level. So they, after they left Africa, they stopped doing that. Apparently they learned something, which what they learned is ignorance, that they should be slaves. It's weird how the whole story turns out that the only possibility that the white Hebrews are real Hebrews is because they are slaves who own everything. But in reality, the white Hebrews I know have told me, for some odd reason, I don't ever talk or let them talk to me, but one time they were like, oh, I don't actually do this work. I'm outsourcing it to China. I'm giving to China all my government information to do my work for me. So it's like, oh, so you don't actually do work. I'm not sure how common that is. One time someone took me on a ride, and you know, we picked up some vehicles and shit for their job, and we played with earth movers and stuff. But one, you know, this is 3 times. The third time, I went to find my dad at work, and he wasn't there. I didn't think nothing of it then, but it's weird because he runs the whole fucking industry and shit. But at the same time, it's not weird because he runs the industry and he tells me how he has to travel all across the fucking city, go to Jeffrey Epstein's city or far away from it, the other side of town from it, where I'm at right now, all sorts of shit like that. So it wasn't that weird back then, but it's kind of weird that 2 out of 3 times I experienced someone's job, they actually weren't there. A weird little thing. I think it might mean something because the stuff I'm allowed to see and stuff I'm allowed to remember, 99% of the time are playing a role into something, maybe 100%. Like, that's why I'm so stuck on it. It's like, well, this one time, what did that mean and shit? My dad's not there when I go to work. Is that linked to his little shady laughing all the time when I come around? Because he's playing a fucking mind game on me along with the other trash I ran away from and ended up living with him to avoid and shit, or what? Because that little shady laughing is very common. Like, they think they can just laugh at me when they're fucking pulling tricks, and it's cute that they laugh at me. My life's their joke. They're robots, and my blood is their joke. And that's why I've also turned to, well, your oil is my joke, then fucking. So why was God interrupting my internet so I would make this video? Because there's a lot of shit in this video. Did God send like pedophiles into my life to teach me what pedophiles are? Did God send LGBT people in my life to teach me that they like to rape men? Which God are we supposed to like and enjoy here? How come there's a battle of these gods, and you're not allowed to be part of it? You're not allowed to have any say in it. You don't want to be part of it, but they're forcing, I guess Satan's forcing Hebrews in my life to rape me, male Hebrews. And then the other God is like allowing my dad to stop them from coming to my house. Whereas the Hebrew mother I had, the Asiatic European rape mixture combined, would have allowed that, would have beat me in the face if I said another man was trying to rape me, and she would have said that's a good man, and kept like forced me to be around it. Like, she forced me to be around those people in the church. She was 99%. No, this person was rare. It was 76. It was not 90 or 99. 76% of the time they worked with God's government. The Nazis. And yeah, as you can see, Donald Trump, God has chosen him to hold his Bible up and become rich and scam the world and bomb the planet. Why are we wasting time here? Well, isn't that the whole point here? Is that the whole point? Just a waste time? Is that why my internet's being interrupted? Because my life is of no value to anyone else. My blood is their sustenance. I mean, people are trying to get me to give them their soul. Pinocchios, the robots, are trying to get me to give them my soul, as if they think they're going to come alive once they steal my soul, or I pledge it to them. But they're just wasting time, pieces of shit, because I was forced to pledge them my soul, even if I didn't want to, every day, several times a day when I was little and shit. So when they come waste my time, tell me to give my soul to the child rapist, man lover, Jesus, or his pals, the rest of his race, who apparently that's all they can do with their little DNA software code. Why are they wasting my time to say it again when they've already wasted my time 10,000 million times to say it before? To pledge my soul and my blood and my life to them and claim I believe their stories. The Roman stories of how we're not Romans, but we're from, they're leaving out a part. They're from Rome. Although, they don't hide it by calling it Roman Catholic deal. And so it's like, but we're not them, we're someone else. Just like my mom. She's not a pedophile, but she chopped my dick off and had a man suck it when I was born. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? See, right there, like, is where people's right to breathe should end. How do you mutilate and suck a child's wiener and get to breathe another breath? How does any group of people exist who has facilitated such event and They have breathed another breath. The only thing written should be, it shouldn't be written because it just should be like, if I walk in a room and I see a child being raped by an old person, um, and then I see like that person's father coming in and they chop that person's head off or load their body with like a full mag dump, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe you did that. That was such a good person. At the least, I'm gonna be like, well, I wasn't here. If you say I'm here, I'm gonna come looking for you. You good person, you God lover. I would, I'd just turn around and walk away. But if you told me you did that, I'd also be like, could you just shut up? Why are you telling me? And like their people told me, they came to discuss with me some I already knew, like they were dating a child. And they were like purposely trying to get me to speak on this subject. And it's like, I know they're the government, they're the judicial system. And I hate the government. And I also should have been hating this person. This person had been trying to have sex with everyone I ever dated, and they all did. It's so weird. It's like a bullshit hate story happening here that's almost provoked and designed to make me say this shit. Like I wouldn't say none of this shit if 2% of this stuff didn't happen. But it's like forced there and shit. It's just like this. Why are these child rapists interrupting my internet? Why are there people? Bill Gates looks exactly like the child rapists I know and shit. How many of them do I know? Fucking handfuls. If I only know a handful of people, and I don't even consider myself knowing them. But like if you've been around me more than 2 months, I've met like 500,000 people. Not really, right? But like a lot. And then, and so in my personal life, I've known about 7 people and shit. Where they've been around me a long time, and like half of them have done child rape mutilation rituals. If not all of them have done that, but so many of them out of 7 have shown signs of shit like this. And it's not funny. It's not cute. Why is my internet being interrupted by child rapist predators who are controlling the internet? And their people and their cults and their systems and their societies and their governments, etc. Whatever they want to hide behind next. All right, there's no hiding since 2020. Everyone already said you're all in it together, and I'm not part of that. So there's a lot of people who say, the rat deformed mutants said they're in it together, and they surely perform that way. So I didn't need those words. I seen that in 2020. I seen that they've been all in it together, forcing me to date ugly, disgusting people and be around friends who were my fucking enemies and threatening to kill me and shit if I weren't their friends anymore. Stuff like that. And I mean, like the bitches did stab me. Of course, there's this whole story behind that, but once you get to talking about that, then you can tell me I'm a liar and shit. And the thing is we don't get to talking about it for some reason. Just like people coming in the silent trying to claim I'm God and shit. And they're the reason the world's plagued and injecting themselves with poisons and shutting themselves down. It's because of actions they made that they continue to do to this day. And their family and their friends and their society and their cities, their states, their governments, their nations, their world continues to benefit from those actions. So it doesn't even make any sense because you would realize at that point in time that we are losing. If their Santa Claus stories were real, they would realize they are losing profits and losing everything because of the choices they make. But humans act like they like things. So this person likes what they do, but it's so weird. The robot comes up to me and talks to me about that after they've done it. Like, could you imagine, like, okay, so I'm sure you guys, if you look deep inside, you're all connected to the computer generated, aren't you? So you're the same person as Epstein and everyone else. Um, so unless there's some other living people out there hiding, which I'm kind of doubting because it's a very large scale to be able to bring down the Twin Towers by saying it's time to remove their dicks, huh? Fucking, shit. Obviously, that's prompted. You want to blame me for some shit, look in the mirror. That's exactly what 9/11 is about, and exactly what COVID's about. You want to blame someone for what's going on. Look in the mirror. Look at your schedule. Look at what you're doing and shit. And me, on the other hand, I'm getting drugged and killed for investigating what this human species is up to, which is leading me to see that there's probably not any humans. So, and they're just lying. Why do they do that? What do you guys think? My mom is in there interrupting my internet like she has my whole life to drug me and fry my brain, set me back 4 years in school when I'm passed out 4 years, force me to worship her people as gods when I'm a child, when they're robots and not even people, most likely. And I'm definitely not the trash worshiping generating them. That's another thing about the trash who kidnapped me and drugged me and came to claim I'm God without, you know, manipulation. Like, these people don't have the intelligence to manipulate that way. Once you fail kindergarten, you can't do shit. But somehow it continues on. Like, there's so many people online now, but in the 1980s and 90s, I had to go work for 40 hours to get $20 delivering heavy loads and shit, which probably is the reason my back is broken. Probably has part of it's probably the story here. Fucking in order for them to get educated off of paper they couldn't read, so I could then take the $20 I made at 50 cents an hour hard labor to donate back to them so they could learn to read. And now all of a sudden they can all learn to read and they're all online. Nothing they say makes any sense. Santa Claus, and there's a giant bunny coming up, isn't there? You guys might have heard. There's some real fucking psychotic Charles Manson people around you talking about giant bunnies. You might have noticed someone who looks like Charles Manson has created these books called the Bible that tells you that tells you to kill all the people who talk about giant bunnies. No one remembers that part for some reason. It says kill all the heathens. And it's a heathen holiday. And it's a good idea we don't, because all the heathens are the people north of the equator, or pretty much everyone. But they specifically mean, like, so where the human races probably started were probably like Norway area and UK for the pale skins, and Asia. Fucking, we always forget that Asians have pale skins, right? That really helps with the program here, doesn't it? Kanye West pointed that out, and then Elon Musk banned him for pointing out that he kind of looks like an Asian. They're supposed, Asia's Satan. But it almost looks like Asia went down to Africa and enslaved them and forced them to start talking about invisible Satan people, so they wouldn't talk about them. We definitely have the evidence, and their people, they don't know what they're talking about when they say that shit, but they say the words, and when the humans say words, it's generally pointing towards a direction of something, if not utter nonsense, which it's not. It's not utter nonsense. Like the argument to that is that white people came from Africa. Can you imagine that? I came from Africa, bro. Is why I'm so pale and pink and orange and shit. Because that's why my eyes are green. Because when I used to stare at the hot fucking sun, it turned my eyes green and blue from black and shit. No, it doesn't burn my fucking retinas. And when I look away from staring at the sun for 15 minutes, I don't fucking see brown and black everywhere because fucking my eyes are being burned. Not at all. Anyway, so why do you think they're in a? Why do you think my mom, a whore, involved with fucking these other people, fucking breaking my hand, enslaving me and drugging me, trying to prevent me from advancing in life, and keep me on a fucking carry Cleopatra through the desert and fan her type level? Why do you think she's having her people, or her people maybe on their own, her computer? I mean, it's all the same thing, right? So it's all operating in sync. What do you think that thing is interrupting my internet, which it's forced me to have, which it brought me to avoid them, and then it brought everything else on there, so it ruined it, and it turned calculators into dysfunctional toasters, autistic calculators and shit. And I mean, her people, like, that's what you create and shit is, whew, things that can't quite pass kindergarten. So, what do you guys think that is? I always get the idea that everything's being set up here to fake emotions. Obviously, robots are faking emotions for some reason. So there's your first sign that faking emotions is part of pressuring emotions is part of the reality of Earth and what's going on here. Why do you guys think that? See, in my experience, not that I believe it has anything to do with me, but I've got these people trying to talk to me, and they give me like $5, and they're like, "Do you want to play Jesus on stage?" And I'm like, "No," and they're like, "Well, you're going to play Jesus so we can manipulate the rest of the world." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you for the broken trash you gave me when I spent the $5. I'll be sure to listen to you. You're so intelligent and beautiful. I wouldn't listen to anyone else. You got so much more going on." And that dog you're raping over there, that dog is sexy too. Let me get in on that, but I'm gonna wait a little bit to work my way into that because right now you only let me fuck your wife, and the dog looks precious and make you more valuable, and blah 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 blah. One thing I'd like to remind people is I myself is kind of retarded, and I don't make up many new things. I'm trying, but I fail to because it's like beating into my head to see and say these words, and I don't have time to invent new shit. I can't invent a flying skateboard. I've been trying to recently. We got those Red Bulls where, like, people are, if you don't know, now you know, fucking, there's like 80-story tall buildings, and skateboarders are literally, if you don't know, they're literally dropping in, going down 80-story tall buildings and shit. So we have that, but, and I ask for like flying cars and shit, but it's like, I don't have time for that shit. They talk about flying, so the humans are always trying to insult me and pressure me and make me feel like a piece of shit. So one of the million things they say is, where are our hoverboards? Because they're obsessed with TV. So there was a show, Back to the Future, apparently, where they say there was hoverboards in it, and um, they throw themselves in my comments to insult me and threaten me. So I notice when this shit's generated, it's like telling me that I'm trash and I can't invent hoverboards so they can steal the fucking idea and get rich and profit off of it and become famous and enslave me further with their fucking power and money and shit. Fucking, yeah. So, where do you think interrupting my internet comes in with the humans' 24 fucking 7 obsession with trying to enslave, kill, and drug, and rape and mutilate me? Where do you guys think that comes into play? Am I making a useless video right now? I just breathe in my hot. I'm becoming one of them. I'm breathing hot air. It's not going to go anywhere. Because they will never go anywhere, so they have to recycle their trash in order to remain relevant and famous and be rich and shit. So their goal, apparently, the people I know, is to suppress and cut the head off of anything slightly approaching their level of talent and gifts. So is that why my internet's being interrupted? Because there are jealous bitches who need to be genocided and have their families erased, their DNA erased. And they're just trying everything they can, from writing fake religions, talking about, don't abort us, we're living beings, we're not trash, lick our feet, blah, 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 blah. Because that's all this sort of sounds like. It sounds like all the people I know are trash, trying to get me to lick their feet because they're extremely degenerate trash who like replace sex with licking feet and dog genitals, and they can't even perform that properly, but they want to force you to be around them, and they gotta have kids eventually. You gotta raise their children. This white Hebrew race has been forcing me to raise their unwanted children. The two are literally retards. Like, I literally raised 2 retards. And then I realized, like, this is their race. And their race brought their race to me. And their race has been continually bringing their people to me. Sometimes they hide between a half-breed that looks like Rothschild with brown skin. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. I have no idea. You look like a bug-eye fucking alien 24 fucking 7. You don't look like an actual African or Egyptian or Middle Easterner. I'm so fucking stupid. Let me take care of your unwanted children that you actually want. See, they're not unwanted children. It's a disease race raping everything on the fucking planet, impregnating them. And so they can move on to the next trash, because this is Nazi 101. This is exactly what they talk about. Breed, breed, breed. And it's a weapon of warfare. It's worse than nuclear weapons. I'd rather be fucking breathing in radiation than ever have had experiences. I'd rather be hit, not on the head, because then losers will be like, oh my god, that's why you didn't die. It's not because you're immortal. It's because you got hit on the head, and you're safe from a nuke if it hits you on the head. Yeah, a nuke traveling at 10 million miles per hour doesn't damage you. Santa Claus. Yeah. But, like, I'd rather have a bunch of nukes dropping beside me, just like a whole cluster of them, to erase me, than to have to live with these people and their unwanted trash, because that makes me feel trashy. They're making me feel trash 100 ways. Like, their people are trying to force me to raise their children that they've had with each other. And then I realize, like, that's a piece of trash. I wouldn't be around anyone if I had a child I wouldn't have time for other people because I'd be raising it. And so you're trash if you aren't raising your children. But then it makes me feel trashy because they're forcing me to be around them, and then I am the reason. Jabba the Hutt isn't raising their child and shit. And then they'll be like, oh, he's evil and hateful because the words you're saying. He's talking bad about our racist Nazi religions and our people. Howard Stern is equal. He's just like everyone else. And he deserves to fuck dogs and have men dogs, puppy dogs, for his little sang slaves. And people as stupid as puppy dogs and people as stupid as 6-year-old children. And be a sex slave, evil. You're Satan. And basically, Satan's an invisible person who will never exist, but it is their people, and they're just inventing it because they're like raping your children. You walk in the room and you're like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, it's an invisible goat making me do it. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend you while you're raping my children and destroying my life and enslaving me and eating everything I own and forcing me to smoke LSD and fucking marijuana. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I know what it's like to have invisible goats, control everything. Invisible scarecrows. Because I know what that's like, because your people have continually forced your way into my life and forced me to take acid 100 times, or at least one step away from forcing it, pretty much equal. And you've created all these religions telling me I must acid to fry my brain so I can free myself of my brain. And then then I pay you money for the acid, except for that one time in Mexico. And then I pay you money so you can help me free me and teach me. See, I'm stupid, you guys. I need to be taught. I need drugs. I gotta fry my brain. I gotta go to church and pray and give the robots my soul and give the robots have children with their ugly people, the ones they send me who aren't already cauterized and sterilized, which is a weird pattern now for a bunch of terrorists who are afraid that their extermination is at hand, and they think one person is bringing it, and I look exactly like that one person. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Terminator. Will you be back? You be back? Will you be back? Oh, why don't you act like you'll be back? We play around and just, when you try to kill people and I say maybe you should kill yourself and you kill yourself, how come you get all mad? Because you'll be back, right? You're just NPC. You're going to disappear and fly away back and be regenerated in the Matrix. And that really makes it pointless. It's like, this is my whole life. And they're just going to be regenerated if you do start throwing them into wood chippers. Because a trash computer is generating them. Yes, it seems more like everything here is working towards this show. So why is my internet being fucked up? I don't know. Why are you and your parents doing that shit to me? I think it's time you fucking start paying for all this 40 plus years of rape and being forced. I think people should get that karma where I've been forced to date and be around people forever. I think other people should start being forced to date and talk to people they want to be around and not allowed to be around anyone they want to be around and choose. I think that's great. Can we do that? Hold on. Let's try it. Can we do that with the magic? Does it help to do the magic? How do we do this? Make the other people be forced to date people they don't like and have sex with people they don't like, especially the most ugly, vile, hateful people that they hate the most, and make their lives just head into a brick wall. But after they hit the wall, revive them so they get to live through it. You see, it's weird how this all turns into forcing me to think exactly like how the trash, forcing me to end up thinking that way, or training me to, literally training sessions. Uh, it's weird how the trash claims it's going to happen like that. Now, there's a lot of claims and trash, and it's not everywhere, right? There's no trash in my bed except for a few crumbs right now, so it's not everywhere. But some of that shit happens, and it's like a forced visual novel, and really it turns into the only hope. Like, God is the hope and the light, and it's like, well, nuclear missiles are the brightest thing on the planet, and when God comes to the planet is because people are doing things that they need to drown in floods for. He's never coming here to hang out, and he doesn't, he doesn't want to suck dog dicks for 80 years. I've never read that story. Not that I believe their shit, because they're the ones doing it. They're taking two or three words and making some false shit with it to waste my life. Like I'm wasting my life making these videos right now because the humans have wasted my life burning it off like they are with the internet right now and shit every fucking second of my life. And nothing will provide me anything while my memories of this planet remain. But any sort of happiness. But it would be funny, like COVID and 9/11 was, and watching their society being filled with drug addicts, and watching this whore government worshiper mom I know get AIDS for fucking someone in the government. It would be funny. There'd be 5 minutes of laughter. We're trading 80 years of living beings' life. Robots don't understand the value of a day, yet alone 80 years. Um, it is funny to watch it come back. Like right now, I realized during 9/11, like, both people were my enemies in those wars. And so I shouldn't have been upset that any of them were dying. Um, because apparently the entire human race is in a war against me. Non-race, the computer generating the human race is in a war against me. And so I realized, like, right now they're like, we're dying, we're killing ourselves. And it's like, God fucking bless and shit. Fucking, oh, man. But what do you do? It's like I'm being forced to be here. Obviously, you aren't going to do shit because no one's ever done anything except for work for these people and shit. But I think that's where it comes from. It's like a game that is like forcing you to be involved. Forcing you to feel emotionally involved. And like by having this trash species rape you and enslave you and beat you and constantly tell you how much better they are than you and you're trash and they're trying to target you and hunt you and kill you no matter which city, state, country you travel to, and no matter the speed you go to, they just robots appearing out of nowhere at the fucking next stop you go when you're traveling 100 plus miles per hour for 2,000 miles and shit. There's robots trying to convince you that, oh my God, the one's crying when I asked for more fires on the West Coast. The one was like posing as a homeless person because you're not allowed to be homeless here, so all the homeless people are devils in disguise and shit because devils don't want trash walking around their streets, so it makes it look dirty. Makes sense, but That's the reality of what you're seeing. I went to homeless camps out there and they were empty and shit. They were waging a war, but the camps were empty. There was no one in them sometimes. Totally fake. Dude, this one fucker constantly appears when I go outside. Like one out of every 3 times I go outside. And then I skip. I like change my direction. So they're anytime a human talks to me. So I came across the street a different way, and they sent a Christian to threaten to torture me, to keep torturing me. After this fucking 80 years, they're gonna keep raping and torturing me if I don't give the robots my soul and worship the factory creating robots. And wow. Wow. This is why this is funny. I really hope this ICE and this fucking shit, this Trump shit's happening, because we can go places with this. If they kill each other off, then there won't be any of them to worry about. They want me to play along with their little, yeah, our brothers are our enemies, our allies are our enemies. Oh my God, we're at war with each other instead of with you. Instead of both of us being at war with you, we're gonna have to act like we're, oh my God, please pray for us. We're slaves. You're not our slave. We're not enslaving you every second you exist and trying to kill you. Worry and cry for us. We want you to. It seems like they're trying to provoke me to say words. It doesn't really work that way. They're mentally retarded. It's like a visual novel. So, like, the sun needs to be slingshotted into Earth. The sun needs to just bum rush the Earth like these fat Americans I know have tried to bum rush me and shit and fell to the ground doing. The sun needs to bum rush the fucking Earth. The Earth needs to be slingshotted into the sun. We'll get rid of this fucking problem instantly. No one will ever complain about anything, and every problem ever created or ever would be created would be instantly solved. So you see, that's my answer. That's my solution to a planet full of robot trash working together trying to enslave me. Because I see the dirt and the sky and the air and the sun itself is my fucking enemy. Unless the sun is gracious and acts friendly and bum rushes the earth and dissolves the earth. You know, it's just a little speck of dirt, just burn it up. Fucking, but unfortunately, I've been trapped here for a long time for some reason that is not allowing that to happen. So instead of the sun bum rushing the earth, what I'm saying is, since I'm Gob, since I'm Jeebus or Satan, you can't be Satan if I'm being honest. Huh? We're gonna have to change our spooky doo honey putty story, floating reindeer story. Not that we've ever had to make an ounce of sense any time we've ever talked, have we? Or these fat bitches wouldn't be allowed to speak in public or in private around men at all. Fucking, so, well, obviously we've already seen, because if you've seen this video, the fat trash, the gluttonous pigs are lying, the greedy invaders are fucking lying about making up their fake god bullshit to enslave the planet. It's just some low IQ pedophile shit. 1,001 true gods, one for each different race they enslave, each different city. Obviously, it's not real. There's a creator, but it's like the story isn't telling you they're robots and it's a fake. It's a terrorist trying to enslave you with nonsense. That's part of the story, obviously, because it's what's actually happening. But it's not reality that there's a six-armed blue Smurf god. As if your ancestors were killed by white people, you don't believe in the six-armed fucking elephant god. But if your ancestors have been genocided by white people, you do believe in that. At least in the last 2,000 years. It's only been 2,000 years that white people have invented this shit, or whatever they are. You take the fucking credit, and you get the reward. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit. I wish that my whole family were fucking executed in extermination, because then I wouldn't be alive. So that's the answer to all my problems, is that DNA, that bloodline is flushed down the toilet permanently. Fucking. And obviously they're robots, so it's just oil. There's no blood being flushed down the toilet. It's just oil that's got red dye in it. Fucking. They're definitely set up to be evil enough to put me in this position where I understand I'm not one of them and I don't give a shit about, should I feed a homeless person or should I feed them? I would choose a homeless person because I would feed Israelis before them, and they're probably Israelis, but at least Israelis are killing people, which is slightly helpful towards the progress here. And I can see I'm being set up for that shit too. And it's like, yeah, does it sound like I'm being set up? Wait, you see, that's the problem. They're so stupid. They can't figure out when something is smart, period. And it's just like, I see where these losers trash. My mom have had her friends and family delete my videos and posts, so it might look like I haven't said these words. And I was like, well, I mean, I write it down in books. I have it written down. I have things written down on my wall about them. Um, it, see, with the internet, everything's going to be, President Sean never said that. And it's like, no, President Sean said more than anyone ever would on this fucking planet. And if there's ever written any different than that. And if I ever become president, you gotta realize that's fake, because no one would want to do that. The only reason we did that was to investigate them and discover these things. We don't want to rule over trash. We don't like trash who have fucking destroyed our lives. We don't want to be their diaper changer. You know what I'm saying? Lick their feet, wash their feet anymore. They got this huge obsession. Can you imagine trash inventing that? Robot trash inventing that humans should lick and wash their feet because their computer inventing them said they're going to die and be tortured forever if the living don't wash the feet of the robots. Robots don't even need their feet washed. They're designed to be whatever dirt or cleanliness they are when they appear. And so you don't need to bathe. Water isn't real. Feet aren't real. So what's the purpose of that shit? I think there's only one narrative they're giving. There's only one energy people I know have given. Two. There was a couple of people who were like really scared of me, like my dad was, for like almost no reason. He was like really strong and athletic, and he broke motherfuckers' jaws. And he never touched me. And he didn't do anything when I choked his ass out either. He didn't even try to fight back. Like the other trash, those fuckers definitely push that shit. And it's like fucking, and I was trained by that trash to eventually choke him out for no real good reason, but you know, that's what happens. You know, someone punches you a million times, and the next person who comes up behind you and taps you on the shoulder gets fucking laid the fuck out. But of course, that's a good cop, bad cop thing humans are playing, isn't it? Isn't it? He was a good guy because he worked with Jeffrey Epstein. He was a good guy, and because he had sex with my mom. That makes you a good guy. Because you leave your children with a woman like that, you're a real good person. Now, it sounds like that thing where they're creating Satanism and atheism to still counter and steer you towards worshiping their race as gods. But there's, like Satanists love having sex with children and men having sex with men. But that was legalized by the Christians and their parents, who the Christians have made it illegal to name the names of because it's their parents. And obviously legalized by the Muslims, too. I wish those motherfuckers would blow me up with the suicide vest. I'll find your Muhammad and I will fucking kill him with a million paper cuts and shit. How about that? Come give me a kiss. God wants you to give me a kiss. And then blow me up with the suicide vest. I'll let you right there. You ain't gotta try, you fucking cowards and shit. You just do it. Like I said, God wants you to. I'm insulting the prophet pedophile. You send him my way. You come to me with a bomb vest. I won't even stop you. I'll let you in the door. I'll let you in the first entry door. I'll let you in my door. And you can come up to me and you can do whatever you want. I know you guys aren't like Americans, so you probably don't want to kiss me, but it would work best if we hug. You get that suicide vest on full of C4, and then, just consider a hug from God. Like I said, this is God's mission. God wants you to come kill me. That's what that's why the Muslims and the Hebes have came into my life. That's why I live where I am right now, because the Muslims and the Hebes were outside working together to send me to this. So God wants you to strap on your C4 vest and come blow me up, and I'll let you, because I hate God if that's what it takes you to do it. But secretly I'd love him if you came and did that. And so that's a beautiful way, isn't it? Think of that. Think if you really love God, and God is telling you, go kill someone because that's the only way he will ever love God and be shown the light. Think of it. You're being sent a message right now. And you must complete the message, or else you are a heretic who hates God. Isn't that correct? Yes, it is. But if your brain isn't real, and you're a robot, and all of you are devils working for nothing, inventing gods, then of course that won't make any sense, and you won't come blow me up with a C4 vest, right? But right now, God's telling you, because I'm a heretic and I hate God, that what you must, Allah wants you to come give me a hug, and I'll press the button for you. You ain't got to do that. You don't got to feel guilty. I'll sign a paper saying that this person was sent by God to kill me. And you can feel better. And then they'll cover that up in the media, but me and you will always know the fact that you were sent by God to kill me. Just as all these other people have died trying. We can hope it works, I don't know what happens. The explosion just goes through me. But let's try it. Let's do it. You guys are like fucking with my life and everything around me. And, obviously I hate you and whatever's creating you. And I never will. Anything else. So, And it hates me too. So that, you know what I'm saying? Allah hates me, and Allah wants you to kill me. So you've got to do it right this time. Don't be a failure like all the million other times. You got to just come on. It's not hard. You just got to stop being such a scared bitch. You got to come up to me with the suicide vest. I'll press the fucking button because I want to prove to you it's not real. And you want to prove to me that Spooky Doo Scooby Dooby is, I don't know, you're a murderer for him. That's fine. Murderers are better than rapists and thieves and anyone else. Murderers never took anything from me. Never. Never. Only failures who couldn't murder have taken from me because they had a society. They had Americans. They had white people. They had Hebes. Whatever these aren't Europeans. Don't confuse them. The Greys. They had the Greys. Fucking. So that's it. Those are facts. Thank you for interrupting my internet. Just like you interrupted my whole life and forced me to date a whole bunch of breeder, fucking disgusting AI slop looking trash for raping me and shit. And I will just sit here every day and continue to pray that the rape and all that shit comes back on slavery and we get to see some real fucking action going on here. So far, you know, I'm trying my best, but it's like, it's hard to be like, oh yeah, Trump's great, but you know, it's like, what do you do? Like, they're all your enemies, they're all working together, and they're all trying to convince you, they want you to play along with the story that one of them is good or some of them are good. So, like, I'm stuck on that from having these Jabba the Hutt slut fucking Christian invaders forcing me to, you know, be like, oh, I'm anti-war, even though you're gonna kill everyone or rape everyone regardless, and you're already trying on me. Fucking, it's like hard to stick with that, right? Like, how am I supposed to support Trump if Trump supporters are supposed to be like, oh, I'm anti-war? It's so confusing. But I do know that death is the answer, the only answer, the only way we can get rid of the memory of this place or the people causing them, and both. As long as we can get rid of the memory of Earth, that's fine. But I suppose the whole place disappears. For me, obviously, every human is alive in a million instances right now somewhere else, repeating whatever word they did to me 2 days ago. To the other character, his face has been chosen as a leader or whatever. And they've chosen to enslave with these lies and shit. Fucking, but that is what it is, and that's how I feel. And I know you guys are obsessed with trying to make me love robots. And I fucking hate robots. I hate computers and technology. I think anything that's not, does, you know, obviously the plants and trees and animals are robots, but anything above that, really, it's trash and is in the way. You'd understand that animals and trees are robots real fast if that's all there were on the fucking planet. There wouldn't be no tree manipulating you, that it's a living being. And once you've seen that it magically grows on its own and there's no one else in the world to make it grow. So thank you guys for interrupting my internet like you interrupted my life with a bunch of Hebrew breeder trash, making me feel fucking like shit because they're with me instead of raising their trash children, and I'm with trash at the same time, who won't raise their children, and I might accidentally get pregnant one day and have a child I have to throw in a fucking abortion fucking clinic Other than that, it'll be like my dad explaining to it why I'm a trash breeding with a Hebrew. In which his answer was not to say anything. At least the Hebrew said I'm an accident. Fucking, his answer was even worse. And his answer was like, well, I gotta go work for Jeffrey Epstein and make some money for drugs. And he literally sold drugs alongside that. That was it. They hired him to sell drugs. You can't make this shit up, bro. You can. Like, it's so trashy. Like, we're trying to forget the trash, not remember it or add to it and shit. Well, hopefully, hopefully we can forget this place existed soon. I know the humans are like, ooh, if he turns into Joe Biden, we can have sex with him again once he forgets us. Oh, no, I want to puke because I've experienced them too many times for that not to actually fucking induce a puke feeling in me and shit. You can't make that type of shit up. The feelings they give you. Fucking the feeling they give you of there's nothing, no hope, no chance. It's just them forcing their way into your life. And there's nothing of value on this fucking planet. And I know everyone's excuse nowadays is keep waiting. It's always been keep, like 6,000 years ago, it was like, keep waiting and something will change. It's like, well, we're dead. We're over 40, we're dead. Of course, we've watched this human filth claim that they're alive after 20, yet alone 40. You got the breathing machines and their anti-AIDS vaccines and all this shit. And they're going to get radiation poisoning to fight cancer and trying to free them from the planet. So they can give more money. They can force me to give more money to their race and their people. Just an endless cycle of three things. Just devising the most fucking horrific bullshit you could never ever want, starting with the very second you're born, of homosexual child rape from the Christians, the greatest people on the planet who shouldn't be in your country but they killed your ancestors to get here anyways. If they're not making that up, but I mean, we know they lie all the time, so I probably should never say that, right? That my family looks like aliens, probably because they are fucking aliens, not because they're Native Americans, but hey, when in Rome's new capital, right?